Question ko po para kay Miss Edith at kay Colonel Maranta. Miss Edith, ano po nag-inspire sa inyo na isulat at i-direct ang buhay ni Colonel Marantan? At Colonel, paano po kayo napapayag ni Miss Edith na i-gawing docu-film ang inyong buhay? Miss Edith, kayo po muna.
Malakas naman ang boses ko, di ba? O kailangan sabay? Kailangan sabay.
What inspired me? He came into Davao on a very unfatal naman siguro kasi mainit ang temperature ng politika. Kaya kinalakal ko siya, sino ka ba? Ba't ang tapang-tapang mo? Katatapos lang na natanggal yung regional director dito dahil sa KOGC, remember? So, but what's the will, no? Hindi ko siya in-entertain kasi nagko-cover lang. Like yung nagko-cover lang. Dumating yung August 27, yung buong media industry, yung journalist na nagko-cover ng KOGC, yung inaway na kami, parang, foul na yon. October 26, tinawag ko sa Senate, yung sa media harassment. Na-stranded kami doon, kaya tinawag ko si General Torre that time, sir, hindi kami makauwi kasi that was Katrina. Sunday pa yung next schedule namin na makauwi ng Davao. So, sabi ni sir, saan kayo magbilit? Sabi ko, naghahanap kami. And finally, si Colonel Maranta, sabi niya, doon kayo, sabi ko, sir, kailangan na ma-experience yung bagyo. Kasi walang bagyo sa Davao, di ba? Kasi may bagyo, sabi, ma-experience na namin kasi mahaba naman yung time. So, dinala niya kami doon somewhere sa Chaong. The following morning, sabi niya, ate, malapit lang dyan yung Atimonan. Sabi ko, oo nga, Atimonan, marami nang pinatay doon. The instinct. Kaya sabi ko, pwede pumunta. So may nag-guide sa amin na isang pulis, taga Lucena. Pumunta kami ng Atimonan, makita niyo sa movie kung sino yung first na interview ko doon. Ano itong Atimonan? Kasi boundary may marker eh. Sinagot niya ako, sabi ko, hindi ba siya mamamatay tao? Like your questions. Sabi niya, hindi. Kasi pag the way she answered me, didn't answer my question but triggered more questions. Kaya tinawagan ko si General Barrios kasi mas kilala siya. So doon ko na, that was October 27, 2024, na parang gumagawa na ako ng draft for my own documentary para sa Newsline Philippines. Hindi siya movie actually, hindi. Yung sinabi ko na, when I traverse his stories, narratives, pumapasok yung may Valle Verde. Diba? Meron ka palang Paranaque. Meron ka palang Black Shark. Meron ka palang Teves. Yung nandito ka sa amin, meron ka KOGC. So, yun yung nag-uusap kami ni General Barria, si General Melan, si General Marbel, na nakita ko yung, ito pa rin yung tao na to. So, yung sinabi nung, siyempre tayo mga journalists, yung sinasabi natin, may ibang hindi nagsasalita sa ground na may ibang meaning, may ibang story. So yun yung direction ng story ko. Hanggang nag-November na, at first, natapos yung November eh. Hindi pa kasali yung Black Shark, yung Batangas. So, ang kapal na 136. Sabi ko, ang kapal. So, ultimately, December, o October yung sir na November 2, kinausap ko siya. Sabi ko, sir, malalim ang story mo. Mag-usap tayo. So, yun. Usap din. Ang alam niya, documentary lang para sa Newsline. Hindi movie. Kaya, nung nag-start na sa movie, parang feeling ko na, iba ito. Hindi ako sanay dito. Kasi ang alam ko, research sa libro. Research for the documentary. Tulad yung ginagawa niyo daily, di ba? Ito yung movie, parang, I'm not ready for this. And this amount is parang strange sa amin. Kaya sabi ko, am I ready for this? So, parang nag-backpedal, kaya kinausap ko siya, sabi ko, kaya namin itong ilabas kasi may mga regional din kami, regional cable channels din kami. So, sa amin, itatawid namin ito, pero lumalim. Then, nalaman ko din na si Don Remo, si President Rex Cortez, may involvement na previously sa kanya. So, parang feeling ko na, nang-aagaw ba ako? Yun yung, di ba? Parang exclusive mo to. Bigla kong sumingit, di ba? Parang joiner lang ako. So, as we talked, na-explain niya din, yun yung mahirap sagutin siya. So, I wasn't ready for this, to be honest. Kaya kung may pagkukulang man sa pelikula, I am humbly asking you, please forgive me. Tulad yung journalist din ako, hindi ako filmmaker before. Pero ngayon, nandito na kayo, filmmaker na rin ako. Diba? Thank you po.
Thank you. Si Colonel, yun nga po, paano po kayo napapayag na ipakita yung totoong buhay niyo po ito, hindi ba? Paano kayo napapayag na ipakita sa madla ang buhay niyo?
Hindi ko rin alam bakit ako napapayag niya. Maybe I can start with one statement like, worst things first before it gets better. You know, they sent me to Davao, patatapos namin kay Tevez, kasi I was the one who served several search warrants there with Atty. Rabino. So we were busy filing cases against Tevez, murder cases, hearings on the designated terrorists like that, marami. At hindi lang ganun mag-file ang kaso kay Tevez, hindi rin naman siya maliit na tao. So there were subpoenas coming from the Department of Justice and all that. And then, may shoot order para sa akin papunta sa Davao. So I resisted. But there's an order, so I must go para hindi ma-charge ng subordination because that's another case. Pagdating namin doon, I was welcome with Task Force Davao. Nandun na si Miss Edith. You know, she has that scrutinizing eyes also, piercing eyes. Na-observe ko naman lahat yun, so I said, itong babae to, hindi gagawa ng matino sa akin to. And so, it did. Maraming kuwan, I cannot mention all the particulars of the story. I was sent to Davao because of Kibuloy, para makatulong, arestuin si Kibuloy. Na-aresto naman namin, but ito kasi about 16 days, malapit na, September 8 yung namin. So, and then, nakita ko naman yung, sinabi naman niya, there were attempts already to come up with a memoir. I was jailed for 5 years because of that moment. Nakasama ko naman si Senator Bong Revilla, Senator Jingo inside jail. We started trying to come up with stories na hindi natapos. And then I got out of jail. Nakausap ko si Don Remo and Mr. Res Cortez and nakatapos kami ng maraming script. PowerPoints. And then, because of that, sending me to Tevez, sending me to Kibuloy, that stops the momentum of the story. So, pagdating namin doon, ay nakita ko naman yung the sincerity of Miss Edith na to entrust one story. Kasi, di ba, very basic naman yun. Trust one story, that's your life. To a person passionate enough, aggressive enough to bring out the best in you, the truth in you. That's why it's TBR. TBR means truth, betrayal, and redemption. It's written. Siyang nag-conjugate those words. So I think baka kaya naman niya siguro kasi dami naming pan. When she started writing it, makulit talaga siya. Makulit talaga siya. Journalist, I think that's one of the qualifications to be a journalist. Even at unholy hour, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., tawag yan. Di ba ganito yan? Sabi ko, minsan tanungin ko siya, ano ba yung oras mo dyan? Kasi baka magkaiba yung oras mo. Dito, it's 3 a.m. here. 3 a.m. dito. Pero pasensya ka na, head to one kasi pag nakuha pala yung peak niya writing, hindi naman sa akin. Hindi favorable sa akin kasi I have to take less also kasi it's another day fighting Kibuloy and all that. Sabi ko, sige, isulat mo lang ng isulat. But tama yung sabi niya, we intended for documentary only. Never did I know na papunta na pala sa documentary, the movie. Hindi ako, this is the first time na makaharap ko kayo po. Usapan na namin ni Kenan Mayamis kanina. Before, when we prepared for battle, we know that's going to be an armed encounter. Ito lang ang nararamdaman natin. But now, we are nervous facing ano na kami, parang nini-nervous kami sa inyo. So, okay lang. Yun lang po. Sasabi.
Thank you po and congratulations sa pelikula. Okay? Next one.
We have a set of questions from Jonel Esteriore of Cinema Bravo.
Colonel, in the film, we get to see moments of controversial moments in your life. Were there specific moments that you would wanted na talagang yun ang pinaka-focus ng film? At saka meron bang moments na hindi nyo na inilagay?
Simplify yung tanong. I have an impaired ear. I'm a PWD.
Meron bang specific moment sa controversial career nyo na focus ng film at meron bang ni-leave out kayo?
May anim na controversial na incidents doon, like the Valle Verde, the Parañaque shootout, emanates from the RCBC massacre of 2008. And the series of bank robberies dito sa Metro Manila at that time, nailabas ko doon kasi medyo marami yung body counts doon, about 17 and about 27 body count, equipped with assault rifles, high-powered firearms, supposed to be owned by the law enforcement or the security forces, but now it's being used by the perpetrators na, the Curatong Balele. I think you know that, you can relate with that. So, and they were unstoppable. So, I was asked by the palace na to come up with the case operation. Now, yung iba, yung Valle Verde, in fact, it's still in the video, in the YouTube. Nasa YouTube pa rin yung movie din. Teves and Ibulo and the other officer was put under incarceration. Marami pang hindi na ilagay kasi I belong to a task force. Pag task force naman, you're not there to apprehend snatchers. You are there to apprehend big cuts there. Kaya nagtataka sila bakit si Maranda laging involved sa army counter and all that. I belong to a task force. So, ang target namin ay big fish and they are armed. So naturally, larger percentage there will be army counters there. Thank you.
And nagiging emotional din po kayo sa pagkukwento ng mga moments na yun sa buhay niyo po?
Yes.
Part din ng pagre-revisit, pagre-recollect ng mga moments na yun, yung pagkikritik din ng tao sa inyo na oftentimes nabibilify kayo, parang kayo yung kontrabida sa paningin nila. Ano yung masasabi niyo sa mga critic niyo?
Well, there's redemption already kasi the courts has spoken na exonerate na po kami lahat. We follow the process of the judicial system. Sabi ko nga, we swallowed the pill, how bitter it was, and how bitter it is. We swallowed it. Kaya nga, nagpakulong kami. 5 years under incarceration. What more did they want? And then, yun. And then, the exonerations from the regional trial, of course, speaks for itself. Feeling ko na nilalay na po. So, it's not a good feeling. It's a thing that you don't like it. But, do I have a choice? It's there already. I have to fight it out. But, we know that fighting it out, we have to do it by peace. The victory is coming in by peace. Kaya, from 2005, now it's 2020. It's 20 years already fighting. Pero, nakuha yung redemption 20 years after.
Miss Edith, through the lens of a documentaries, of a journalist, ano ang masasabi niyo po?
Sa stories niya,
Apo.
it was a fight and nakita ko while I was digging up dirt, kung yung term na Attorney De Pasio, while I was digging up this dirt, nakita ko na ako as dating part ng street fighters. Kita ko, ba't kami sumisigaw ng injustice? Parang, investigasyon. Marami pa na nag-injure. Ito pala yung punot dulo ng injustice, hindi lang sa mainstream, di ba? Nakikita yung mga tao sumisigaw ng injustice, di ba? Pero sila pala, merong organizational injustice. Tsaka pinakamahirap sa mga pulis, hindi ko sa pinakampihan. Nakita ko na pag sumabit si pulis, walang umaangkin. Pag victorious ang operation, ang daming claimant. So yun yung nakita ko sa story na parang, I need to put life to this. Kasi hindi lang sila, ang dami-dami pala. So yun yung realization na, I must put flesh to these guys, regardless of their names. Because the story is worth the telling. Yung ang daming, nakikita ko yung sabi, at one point nga sa movie, if you may allow me, sabi ko, well, he was explaining about the death dun sa Paranaque. Kasi sinabi ko, that makes you a killer then. Sabi niya, ito yung may mga collateral damages. So, masakit for me na hindi ko siya naging friend. But I need to write the story to give justice sa itong hindi natin nakikita. Kasi tayo naman usually, di ba, first week lang, tapos yung storya. Yung sa kanila, mahaba pala at ang lalim ng sugat sa mga dibdib ng mga operatives. Okay lang?
Thank you po.
Yes, thank you so much. And just for your info rin, kung naririnig nyo kanina yung official soundtrack ng movie, by the way, kung hindi lang si Miss Kim Caduaya is director, producer, and writer, is also a composer, di ba? Very talented ang ating producer. Palakpakan naman natin yan. Siya yung composer ng OST natin. And of course, sung by Mr. Jenny Anga. Okay, next.
Hello. We have a set of questions from Cesar Batingal of Net25.
My question po is for the producer mo. Ang sa akin po is yung visual at narrative po ng story. This is a docu-film, pero may input po kayo ng yun pong pag-up or reenactment. Tama po ba? Ibig sabihin po, yung iba pong mga visual dito, hindi po siya totoo. Reenactment po. Pero based dun sa story ni Colonel Maranta.
Ang story is 50% archival, 50% reenactment. Kasi yung like the Karamuan which happened 1999, yun yung first kill. So, nakuha namin yung ibang footages, yung kay Mayor Go, nakuha namin. Yung Atimuna naman, we asked the colleagues from the media na tulungan kami. So, may mga critical scenes lang na na-reenact, pero kukonting-konti. Kaya nandun si Colonel Rabino.
Okay po. Si Colonel Rabino portraying the young...
The policeman Marantan.
Marantan, the young version po, yung binata, tsaka hanggang magkaroon ng family, ganun po ba? Okay. And at the same time po, how's the feeling of portraying a character of the General Colonel Marantan po, Sir Rabino?
Thank you po, sir. Natatawa lang po ako, sir. Ni sa panaginip, hindi sumabi na mag-aak ako. Kasi, kwento ko lang kung paano nangyari itong pagiging young Marantan ko kay pagganap sa pelikula. I thought it was only a reenactment of the Atimona, but as days go by, nung ginagawa na yung pelikula, mahaba pala to, kaya napasubo na talaga ako nun. Kaya hindi na ako naka-atras. So, nakakaya naman kay sir kasi si sir matagal ko nang kasama.
May background po ba kayo sa...
Wala nga po eh.
Ayun nga po, during din sa mga teenage days or years, wala kayong background sa okay. Paano nangyari o nakita kayo tapos kayo yung nakita main character dito sa...
Ganito ba, kwento ko na lang po. Ako po ay 37 na ngayon na. Naging police po ako 2009. I've been with Colonel Marantan since my graduation in the academy, 2009. So, for 15 years, more than 15 years ko nang kasama si Sir Marantan in the service, except nung nakulungan sila. So, alam ko lahat yung mga nangyari sa career niya being a police officer. So, yun, isa yun sa nagtulak din sa akin kung bakit ko na lang ginampanan yung role ng pagiging isang batang Colonel Marantan. Tsaka, to pay tribute also to the person na ina-idolize ko din sa serbisyo kasi ito yung maraming hindi nga po nakita ng mga tao kung gaano yung sinakripisyo niya sa career niya for almost 30 years of his police service. Yun ang gusto nating makita sa pelikulang ito. Maraming hinanakit siya na pinagdaanan, maraming challenges, maraming sacrifices na hindi nakikita in real life. So yun, para sa akin, sana nabigyan ko ng justisya yung pagganap ko sa kanya bilang young Colonel Marantan. Pero wala namang masyadong marami pong exposure doon sa akin. Yung ano lang, mga scenes lang, mga physical scenes lang. Baka mag-work kayo, baka ko lagi makikita doon. So, yun, masaya din ako na naging part ako ng isang makapulang pelikula na to. What makes this film different from the police movies na nakikita natin previously is that these are all facts na nangyari. Totoo lahat, naililahad at binigyang buhay sa isang pelikula kung ano yung pinagdaanan ng isang Colonel Marantan. Thank you.
Thank you. My last question po is for Colonel Marantan. Sir, more on narratives po kayo rito or narration and pagkukwento or napa-acting din po kayo rito?
Narration na.
Narration, narrative. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you. Yun, isa po sa mga abangan din natin yung acting ni Lieutenant Colonel Attorney Rabino. Siyempre, di ba? First time daw ni Sir mag-a-act din sa movie. Okay, we have next set of questions from our media partners. Sir Josh.
Hello po, Josh po from ABS-CBN Online. Miss Edith, you mentioned po kanina na Davao-based yung production nito. If you were to describe po yung mga Davao-based filmmakers versus mainstream filmmakers, how would you describe it?
Davao-based filmmakers versus mainstream. Yeah, you have Star Cinema. Regional filmmakers naman, to be honest, they struggle. Why? Because they need to write stories that will compel the general public to watch their movies. And they don't have budget. Budget ang pinag-uusapan. And you have big names na here in Metro Manila. Yung sa region, iba eh. Kasi regional filmmakers do thrive if they got like grants, di ba? From film, like the Cinemalaya, you have the Sinag something, di ba? Sinag Maynila. So they thrive and more dependent sila sa yung bibigay pag-awa mo to, ganun, yung commission films. While the mainstream filmmakers, they have the budget. Second, disadvantage. Mahirap mag-promote sa Manila. Regional ka. But you need to level up with the standards. Like kami from the start, gamit namin 4K na camera eh. Dumating sa point na kailangan bumili ng Blackmagic. Yun. Kailangan pa lang, kasi sa office, sa Newsline, may mga gamit kami. Pero yung pagle-level up, hindi naman, we don't want to use the word competition. Para lang maabot namin yung expectation nyo of what a movie will look like. Kasi Marami naman na-award sa Region 11, sa Iloilo, di ba? Kay Bohol, bago lang. Pero, yung pag-produce in itself, mahirap siya i-compete kasi ang galing-galing naman ninyo. Totoo yun. Kami, ginalingan lang namin konti. Kaya, yun yung difference. Ang galing nyo, kami from regions, ginalingan lang namin. And this, I guess, sabi niya si Mr. Mel, parang first, ito na movie docu na nag-mainstream na theatrical release. Tama ba yun? A nationwide screening. Kami yung first. So, next question mo, alam mo na. Saan galing ang pondo? Di ba? At magkano? Okay. We've been doing documentary sa Newsline. Sa costume ng production sa amin, admin. Eto, nung umabot kami ng 7 figures, parang feeling ko, hindi na ako na tumatatapos to. Parang, yun na, my daughter is here and the brother is sa bahay. Kinausap ko na, kaya ba natin to? Sabi na, mama, naligo ka na, mag-shampoo ka na lang. Yun yung very minimal yung gastos. Ang pinaka-masarap sa feeling namin lahat, sabi ni Sir Manantan, kung kikita ang pelikula, tsaka siya maniningil. Yun. Kaya, nung palapit na yung ending, yung manatulungan ni Sir, lumapit na we want to help. Yun na yun. Kasi sa point of view naman natin, di ba, as journalist, hindi naman tayo beggars, di ba? We welcome naman, but we are not saints. Pero kung binigay mo yung kusa, nag-i-issue din kami ng resibo, tsaka wala account. So dumating sila sa buhay namin, later na part. So ito na yung, na-wrap na yung movie, and I'd like to thank na Manila-based na mga journalista. Ang laki-laki ng tulong nyo. Rappler, TV5, PTV, UNTV, Inquirer, ang laki ng tulong kasi archival and we need to secure the permissions. So ito yung tulong nyo sa amin. And yung, sabi nga ni Sir, later mo na bayaran yung story ng buhay ko kung kikita yung pelikula mo. So tulungan nyo ako magbenta para may kita siya. Kasi as it is na wala gratis ito more. So yun yun.
Follow up na po, will it be the start of your advocacy na highlight yung regional filmmakers?
Advocacy? Part siya, and advocacy din na hindi lahat ng pelikula may kissing scene at bed scenes. Yun yan. Thank you po.
Last na po call Mario. Sir,
yes.
You mentioned po kanina na nakaibigan ka po ni Sir. If you were to describe him as a person, paano mo po siya i-describe na napakita rin ito sa pelikula? Outside work.
He is my brother. A brother na hindi ka iiwanan ng kamatayan. It's not only that I was with him since kaniship, so sa hirap ang hinahawak, kasama kami. But I saw personally how he led us, how he led our class, the PNP class of 1998, to survive. Okay. You know, when you're an officer, siya ang class president. His responsibility was the whole class, not only survival. Okay. Unlike sa amin, we need to survive ourselves. But for him, he need to work all alone to survive all the members. And we were the most numbered class, 1998. Kami we graduated 386. The most populated class yan sa buong ever ng PNPA. So imagine, he carried us all throughout hanggang sa ma-survive. And up to now, that is still our emeritus president. So nakita ko siya doon. If you ask to describe him for me, you know, in your life, meron kang tao to reveal all things. Diba? Personally, sa buhay mo, and operational sa amin, meron kang sekreto. And that someone is siya. Kung baga, I can reveal my life to him, I don't know kung ano siya sa akin, but I feel that the same. That mutual respect. If I feel burdened, matawag ko sa kanya. Okay? When we were in Marawi, I called him. Kung minsan, I was in this part of my life. Nagtatanong ako kung tama ba itong ginagawa namin. Kasi sa Marawi, wala kaming ginawa, kundi manira ng bahay. Matay, manira ng buhay. The Marawi siege. So sa kanya ako nag-confess on what was happening there. Itong film na to is pasalamat din ako kasi hindi na ako mahirapan. Kasi parang I am a lawyer sa kanya all his life. Kung who is Hansel Marantan. Kasi there was time na pan siya He was popular. Popular siya sa buong class namin. Pero marami rin nagbaba sa kanya. And lahat ng tao na makilala ko, if you talk about Hansel Marantan, ito si Colonel Marantan. Hindi yung napanood nyo na masama siyang tao, kriminal siya. But ito yung puso niya. Let's feel and see kung ano yung puso niya. Ganun ako sa niya. So I am always lawyer na kung ano yung pagkatao niya. So itong film na to, at least, ano to ito na to, true to life or facts to This is what really transpired sa buhay ni Hansel. Hindi na ako mahirapan na mag-explain, mag-lawyer sa kanya, na mabait itong Hansel Marantan na to. If you can just hiwain nyo siya, tingnan nyo kung ano yung puso niya. That is him. Okay? I don't know how to describe him more. Pero, look at him. Damdamin nyo yung puso niya para magkilala nyo si Colonel Hansel Marantan. Not only kung ano yung lumalabas, it's part of nature ng trabaho namin. But we need to do it. If we will not do it, who will do it? Parang sa akin is also, I'm willing to die just to serve, just to let our family members, our community live at peace. That is the same true with Colonel Marantan. Grabe ang sakripisyo niya. You will watch on the film how he sacrificed for the country. Yet, he was bullied. Ang ano ko lang doon sa pelikula is hindi na i-reveal doon how the family suffered also. If we do our job and then may barrel ka somewhere, hindi nakikita yung suffering ng family. Okay? Na kung may ginagawa kami behind the scenes, if we suffer, the more na emotional suffering, financial suffering, mental suffering, yung mga loved ones namin, especially the children.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Josh. We have a set of questions from Ms. Ana Teresa of TV Patrol, ABS-CBN.
Hello po. So, kay ano muna, kay Colonel Marantan. Since nasabi nyo nga, nakuha nyo na yung redemption nyo, pero nung binabalikan nyo yung mga nangyari sa iyo, may nahirapan ka bang balikan siya at ikwento kay ma'am? Or may sense of healing din siya sa pagbalik mo sa mga nangyari sa iyo after mo makuha yung redemption? Kumusta na yung experience na kinukwento mo ulit tapos ngayon ibabahagi mo na siya?
Mahirap magkwento ng ordeal. There were times na we have to stop the interview because it became too emotional already, so we stopped that. There are irreparable moments already. It cannot be reconstructed anymore. So we have to accept those things as they are now. And like Christians, sabi ko, may isang interview ko, sabi ko, there's no more bitterness in my heart or anger in my soul. I have forgiven all of them, even Delima. Forgiven ko na siya. Ganun ang ginawa ko. Kasi in the long road to freedom by Nelson Mandela, pag hindi mo i-forgive sila, sabi niya, nakakulong ka pa rin. So, you better yet you forgive them. So that's what I do, and I'm trying to do up to this very moment.
Napanood niyo na po ba, Colonel?
Opo, at kaya na-advise ko kayo, magdala kayo ng tuwalya nyo kasi hindi kakayanin ng panyo nyo yung iyak doon. Totoo. I watched the movie, I think 3 times na, 2 times already. Ganun pala yun. It became too emotional. The latter part of it, very emotional. Si Karen Mayamis, pumalis siya doon sa upuan niya, pumunta siya sa akin, niyakap niya ako. At umiiyak siya. Ako ang tago rin kasi ayaw ko ipakita kung umiiyak ako.
We're very happy naman kayo sa kinalabasan yung film.
Yes. I think that's the best movie na napanood ko. Yes. Without making bola with Ate Edina. He gave justice also to the story.
Medyo lumuwag din ba yung parang pakiramdam ko kahit pa paano?
Lumuwag yung pakiramdam ko? Yes.
Thank you. And then kay Ma'am naman. Ma'am, di ba parang sabi niyo marami dito, archival kinuha niyo. Pero ano ba yung mapapanood namin dito na hindi namin napanood sa balita? Besides yung maiyak kami. Pero parang ano ba yung parang malalaman namin dito hindi namin nakita sa mga balita o nabasa?
Parang inside story din ng ABS-CBN. Totoo. Kasi ako naman yung nakita ko, at first yung kita ko na to. While I was browsing, tinignan ko ABS, GMA, TV5, Net25, PTV, tinignan ko eh. Parang yun na nga, hindi sa nagbibiro. Parang inside story. Ito pala yun. Which gave me courage to do more and do it better. Yun. Yun yung sinasabi ko sa production team. Kasi gusto nyo malaman ilan kami? 13. 13 lang kami. Tipid na tipid. 13 lang kami. So yun yung the inside story of the 6 major operations ni Colonel Manantay.
Ma'am, given din na parang very personal yung story, medyo na hirapan ka rin ba or medyo na pressure ka ba dahil nga sobrang bigat din emotional punto para kay Colonel nung ginagawa niya na parang to translate it sa big screen?
Nahirapan? Hirap na hirap. Kasi I used to write yung mga research. Pag kinakausap ko siya, sandali. Kasi naaawa ako, pero I need to push. Hindi, sandali ko minsan nag-aaway kami. Hindi, sinabi ko to sa, oo nga, ceasefire. Tapos pag nakikita ko na yung gumaganin-ganon, nagkutubig mo na. It took us 6 hours para makatapos ng 15 minutes na interview. Kasi ceasefire, dapat ceasefire. Kasi kung minsan, hindi, kung hindi, ito yun. Sabi ko, journalist ako eh. Kaya, ang naming breaks, kasi nagbe-break in na siya, parang pag gumagano na yung mukha, parang, eto na, I need to stop. Kasi emotional na. Tsaka, yung nakikita ko yung hirap, tsaka yung the pain, na-feel ko. Kasi, mother din ako eh. Kung na-feel ko yun as a mother, na-feel ko yung mother niya, tsaka, pero, huwag niyo ilabas ha. Putang ina yung story ako, gago ba? Lumabas yun sa mukha ko, ilang beses. Kasi, hirap eh. Kasi, ang hirap i-translate. Hirap. Kasi, ang haba-haba. 16 hours interview. It plus archival, plus reenactment. Ilalabas mo sa 1 hour 52 minutes. Yung compression, ang hirap. And I would like to thank, ito yung si Mr. Alex. Sino yung Meg? Yung sound engineering namin? Alex Tombok tumulong sa amin. Tumulong sa amin yung mga directors ng Maynila. Kaya yung sagot tanong mo kanina, who is better? Nandito kami sa harapan nyo, alangan kayo, pero kinaligan lang namin. We cannot compete with you, but we will try our best to stay beside you. So yun yan.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for sharing. Last na lang, kay attorney. Bilang first on-screen mo to. Yeah. Kamusta naman yung experience lang na may mga camera, na, alam mo yun, gawing a scripted thing. Saka mas madali ba o mas mahirap na kilala mo si Colonel Marantan para mas napa-in character ka ba, or at the same time mas na-pressure ka kasi kilala mo siya, mahiritan ka niya kung gusto na yung ginawa mo. Ano gano'n?
Thank you. Dun sa yung sa pagganap ko, kung ano yung feeling, yung nakatutok yung camera na lang is very hirap, sobrang pressure bilang hindi naman namin tuloy yan. Nasa seryosong mundo kami eh. Tapos pagkagawin ako ng isang bagay na hindi ko naman talaga craft. Kaya ayun, I just acted, be myself na lang. Tapos kung ano na lang yung hinihingi ng eksena, ginagawa ko na lang ng paraan. Walang script po yung ibang mga scenes dito, kaya kung ano na lang, nakatulong yung pagiging kilala ko si Sir Marantan.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sir Ben.
Okay, sir, we have a question lang po from our friends from media for Sir, Colonel Marantan. Sir, na-mention niyo daw po kanina na 5 years po kayo nasa Piitan with Senator Bong Revilla and Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Ano daw po yung masashare yung experience with them?
Experience ko sa kanila?
Yes po, sir.
Sa loob ng kulungan, ibang mundo dyan, no? It's a different world na such a challenge every day. Not only for Senator Bong Revilla and Senator Jim, we were with the Champson couples, Wilma Champson and Benny Champson, and I think 13 regional commanders of the CPP and KNDF. We were with the Mangasapano suspects. We were with the Busaya. Iba-iba. About 73 of us inside jail. Doon wala nang pataasan ng pride doon. So everybody, it's all on the level lahat. On the level. I happen to be the mayor of that custodial facility. Kaya ako po ay, kung hindi ko niyo itatanong, na-experience ko rin nung maging mayor. Sa custodial na lang. At second term pa ako. Hindi ko nga lang natapos. Every day, ang usap namin niya, tatlo ang sa puluhan. No? Sa umaga, you will be having some conversation with your lawyers. No? Sa umaga, in the middle, yung 12 noon down, kausap mo yung mga lawyers mo. And then in the evening, kausap mo na lahat. Tumatawid ako kasi nga mayor ako eh. Tapos na General Barrias, about 6 generals were there. Si General Barrias, General Razon, nandun sila lahat. Nandun sa isa naman, sa isang cell, yung mga senators. Tapos kami naman doon sa kapila. So, ibang kwento, iba-ibang kwento. Parang ang suma total doon, natalo kami lahat sa public perception. Very important pala yung public perception. Like for instance, in our case, in Atimonong case, we won the battle, we won the firefight. Kasi 13 patay doon, ako wounded. I was gunned down and brought to the hospital. We fought a good fight. Pero natalo kami sa amin, natalo kami sa public perception. They put us in jail. Ako yung wounded. I have 52 metal screws in my body. 4 bone plates, 1 total knee replacement, 1 impaired ear. Well, accumulation lahat ng mga 5 fights ko with Colonel Mayames and Colonel Calixto and Colonel Rabino. Pero bakit ako inilagay sa kulungan? Dapat ako ang mga dito. You know, sometimes it's lonely to do the right thing. It's lonely to do the right thing sometimes. So, such a challenge talaga. So Sabi nga ni Karen Mayamis na, it's a family. Unspoken. Untold story of the family. Irreparable. Kasi, children mo, bullied in school, wala kang magawa. Tatay mo, murderer. Lapit yung anak mo pag dinala pa, ito sabi sa school, murderer ka daw. Can you answer that? Those are ordeals, those are challenges every day. Every day. Kaya, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Yun lang ang nasa isip ko. And, you know, I kept on reciting Invictus and Desiderata. I recite that every day.
Okay.
Na-recite na rin ni Karen Rubino. Out of the night that covers me, long as the beat from pole to pole, we can recite many poems inside because we want to be strong. Yung iba po, makikita niyo sa movie. Salamat kaayo.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Sir Mom. Okay, it's already 8 p.m. Now, guys, entertain and present guests after this official launch of the trailer of Sa Likod ng Chapa,